Okay, Bob, so Tiger says he's feeling pretty good heading into this week. What would you deem a successful week for Tiger?
He's got to be making the cut. I mean, I know that's a low bar for Tiger traditionally, but when you look at his record, the last 6 tournaments he's played, he's finished 1, and that was the Masters this year where he finished last of those who made the cut and put in his worst performance as a professional. So it's not a high bar to kind of better what he's been doing. He does seem to me to sound a little bit more upbeat, a little bit more optimistic about what his chances might be. This is the one tournament I would think. I mean, we know he knows Augusta really well, but this is the tournament where you kind of get equalized by the golf course a little bit more, and you don't have to be a bomber to try and play here. You can let it run out. It's a lot more strategic than the other 3 major championships. So this may be somewhere where he can compete a little bit. I still don't think that you can play 4 times a year and expect to be competitive, not to have any rust, not to be able to, as he talked about the short game there, get that in shape. You know, again, he's 48. His body may be better than it was a month ago, but it's still not great. And there's a lot. I don't know. I mean, I don't believe in Colin Montgomery that he shouldn't play these. I think he should play these. He's earned the right to play in them, and there may still be a little magic in there, but it's kind of hard to be super optimistic for Tiger just based on what we've seen so far over the last few months.
And Tiger still believes he can win, which is very interesting. Okay, how about Bryson DeChambeau? He won the U.S. Open last month. He finished in the top 10 in the first 2 majors of the season. Do you think he can sort of overpower Royal Troon? Is that even possible, Bob?
I don't think so. I really don't. The 2 things that I don't like about Bryson is the overpowering. Now, I think listening to him and seeing what he did at the Scottish Open, you know, there may be some ways that he nuances his game, brings it down a little bit. The bigger problem with Bryson, as I see, is that he hits such a high ball, and the wind here is a massive factor, and it's going to switch around. We've heard from the practice rounds to the tournament rounds, and it's going to be blowing really pretty heavily. They're talking about not really cutting the greens down at all just because they're afraid the balls will roll. That's how strong the wind would be. So that's a disadvantage for Bryson. Rory hits it high as well, but Rory can bring the ball down. I don't know if Bryson can do it as well as that. Bryson's very smart. He's very strategic. You know, I think he can figure himself a way to get around this golf course, but it's not his natural way of playing.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how he's going to do in terms of strategy. There was video of him during Tuesday's practice round hitting a driver on the first hole over the green on a par 4. So I'm always intrigued to watch Bryson DeChambeau. Okay, how about Xander Schauffele? He finally broke through, won his first major championship at the PGA a couple of months ago. What are your expectations for Xander this week?
They're a little higher. You know, Xander's been in the hunt in a major championship I should say, an Open Championship 2018 at Carnoustie when he was a young player. He was right there at the coming down the stretch on Sunday before some ill-advised bogeys that he made. But I think we sort of overlooked Xander a little bit. You know, he doesn't get the notoriety even though he won a major earlier this year. And I think he's played perhaps some of the most consistent golf, maybe next to Scottie Scheffler, without winning as much. He did win, of course, we know that, the major. But he's played some really, really solid golf. I think he's a guy, believe it or not, the PGA champion, lurking in the background a little bit. But I'd be if I was thinking about guys that I might want to put in my office pool, he might be right up near the top of that list because I think he's got the game and he's got the confidence in his game right now to play well at Troon.
We'll have to stay tuned a little later in the show when we make our Open Championship picks to see if Bob has Schauffele on his squad. Now, Xander finished T2 back in 2018, but doesn't have a top 10 at the Open since then.